Okay. This is account number 2, I guess, from last night. I thought it would be entertaining to do the video while I was still hepped up on goofballs. So I get in there, and they did not instill confidence. I was sitting around forever and ever and ever and ever, and I was so totally wigged out about it. Finally they get in, do the tests, go over all the medications and everything. I don't know how on earth I'm going to remember to do all this, but I must try. The doctor came in, he was very reassuring this time, gave me my little Valium, which I took, and then, it takes like a half hour to take effect. But immediately, 2 minutes later, we were in this room, and so I lay down, and they positioned me and plopped something into my stomach. I'm like, what the hell is this? And they had some name for it, I don't know. So I was feeling around because I couldn't hear them because I was too freaked out. I'm like, is this a stuffed animal? Yes, it was a pound puppy. It was hilarious. So they put a little ring to prop open your eye, and they gave me numbing drops and an antibiotic and an anti-inflammatory steroid and moisturizing drops and all this stuff. Props open my eye. I can't take this. I'm having a panic attack. I start doing the deep breathing to try not to scream and weep hysterically, because all I wanted to do was scream my fucking lungs out and weep hysterically and say, get me the hell out of here, as he starts to scrape off the epithelium. And so he's pushing, you feel a little bit of pressure. It doesn't feel, there's a little tiny bit of pain. It wasn't terrible. But, he's up there, and I'm imagining, of course, this scalpel hanging across the top of my eye, which didn't help. And then when he was pressing down, my vision turned this really beautiful shade of kind of a light blue with a white starbursty kind of circle in the middle. It was actually quite pretty. And then, of course, that went away when he released the pressure on my eye. And then they positioned the laser, and they're like, okay, look, and I was able to calm down enough to look at it, and you hear this tick, 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 tick noise as it's doing it, and I'm breathing through my mouth, so I can still smell what, it smells like burning hair, which is, of course, my eyeball burning. And and so then they finished, and I'm still gasping and panting in a panic. And the woman, one of the assistants, she must have been like 3 inches from my ear. She's like, "You're okay, da da." It was actually, it had the effect intended, which kind of amazed me. But so then the whole process repeated on the left eye, and by that time the Valium was starting to kick in or something, but it was much easier to bear. And then, as you've heard, when he was scraping off the epithelium, so he was putting pressure on the eye, and it did go completely black. And I don't know if it was the Valium or just because the first one was so traumatic, but that wasn't that big of a deal. So they went through and they did it, tick, 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 kind of, and this time I'm breathing through my nose and I can smell the burning hair, which is my eyeball burning, as they stab it with a laser. And that was it. And then they were very nice, and they were very soothing, which was good because I obviously needed to be soothed. So I stood up and I asked them specifically if I was the worst person they'd ever had, and they kind of both paused and looked at each other before saying, "No, you're not the worst. And we've had worse. Oh, you're not the worst." But the first response was, "Well." So there's that. And then I left, and I'm trying to figure out if my left eye isn't bothering me at all because I made them give me extra drops after hearing about people who's, had been able to feel the second eye, or if I caused a problem by freaking out during the right eye. But my left eye basically is fine, and my right eye is just tearing. I can't even open it. It's irritated so much. But when I open my eyes and I look, it's like I'm wearing my contacts. which is, it feels like I'm wearing my contacts because I've got, you know, the protective contact in, but I can see, and I'm not wearing any correction, which is pretty cool. Okay, this is day number 2. I'm not actually sure how well you can see me, but that's okay. I figured I would do one update wearing the ridiculous eye shields, just so you know how dorky you'll look if you get this done. It actually has not been painful. It was pretty irritating for the first couple of hours afterwards, and they still bother me. Like, I'll sleep for a couple hours, and then I'll be up for 15 minutes to a half hour before my eyes start to bug me. But if you're used to wearing contacts, what it really feels like is just if you've had a pair of contacts that you really should have thrown away like a week or 2 ago, and they're just kind of itchy and irritating, and that's really all the worst it's been so far, which is cool because I was really expecting it to be excruciating. I'm something of a wuss, so since this isn't making me writhe in pain, I'm pretty excited about that. Vision is really good to start, which is very cool. Or like things that are really far away are very clear, and then things that are a little closer, like my computer or especially texting on my phone, is not good. But there's this really weird effect where if I look at something that's not very clear, or if I'm reading a book and the letters are a bit blurry, if I stare at them without blinking, you know, kind of normally as your eyes dry out, things will get blurrier. Well, the exact opposite happens. Things become clearer, which is very strange. I don't know how I'm going to remember to take all these drugs, especially going to Europe in a couple of weeks. I need to get a doctor's slip to try to bring as much of it out of the plane as I can. And that's pretty much all to report. It's kind of cool.